Battery rack design and layout information influences placement of Lishen Tamer monitoring sensors. This video will address the criteria for monitoring sensor placement. The industry has many different definitions of a battery rack. For our purposes, Lishen Tamer defines it as a single vertical string of battery modules. Each rack design is different, so it is crucial to identify your brand and battery rack model. If you do not know the rack design, we apply one monitoring sensor per battery rack as a conservative approach, with potential to reduce sensor quantities once more information is provided. Once we know the battery rack design, we want to consider how air flows through the modules and rack. For example, module fans may cool and ventilate the batteries. Fans create this rack-level airflow, which helps guide and optimize monitoring sensor placement. While monitoring sensor placement is based on rack-level airflow, it is not required for sensor operation. However, airflow patterns should be taken into consideration when positioning sensors on or near battery racks. We look beyond airflow patterns at several other rack design features for sensor reductions. An open rack frame. If the battery rack frame is open, batteries are not contained in a cabinet. Then usually we use one monitoring sensor for every 2 battery racks. Cabinet rack frame. If the battery modules are contained within a cabinet, no sensor reductions can happen unless other conditions are met, such as the presence of module or rack vents. Module vents and burst disc allow for sensor reductions, as the off gas will create a larger dispersion cloud due to the ease of gas escape. Always make note of where the vents are located on a module and how this can affect the flow of off gas. Rack vents, primarily for cabinet rack frames. Racks with built-in vents may allow less sensors. Off gas will be more guided when leaving the rack, so the exit points can be anticipated. The rack design works in conjunction with the rack layout to optimize monitoring sensor quantity and placement. Multiple rack layout examples can be found in the design guide. The final Lishen Tamer system design is guided by the reference and monitoring sensor placement criteria we have covered. Consider this cumulative example. There are 10 Lishen battery racks, equivalent to 30 battery racks by our definition. 2 HVAC supply points, so reference sensors will be mounted here. No personnel entry points. Hot aisles located near walls of the container, so monitoring sensors will be mounted here. And cold aisle located in the center of the container. You can see that reference and monitoring sensor placement is an interplay between multiple criteria. Through careful consideration, we can optimize Lishen Tamer monitoring sensor placement for any battery energy storage system.